Hey guys, it's me Trevis here with some Outriders tips. Here are 10 tips I wish I would have known day one of playing Outriders. Tip number 1, I've seen a lot of people that are putting attributes into their weapons and then leveling it up after the fact and then freaking out because the number of, weapon damage or whatever stat they're looking to increase was completely reset or reduced even beyond what it started with. So what I'm trying to say is, let's just give a weapon a 5.0% perk for increasing weapon damage. So weapon damage says 5% on it, right? If you put resources into attributes and then you go from maybe 5.0 to let's just say 5.5% boost, when you level it up, you'll see question marks next to it because it re-rolls those numbers every single time you level up a weapon. So if you go from level, let's just say 20 to level 21, it could re-roll the weapon damage to maybe 4.5 or 5%. So if you've already put attributes into maximizing that, it'll re-roll it and possibly reset it or even go below what it started with. So do not waste resources on attributes. If you know you're going to level up the weapon, do that first, get your new number, and then make your decisions on the attributes after that. So do not waste resources. That's tip number 1. Tip number 2, use your melee. There are a lot of people playing this game that are never using their melee attack, and they're dying with close range. Let's say you have a shotgun, you pump out 8 shells, you're working on reloading, and then you just get punched by somebody and you're dead. You could easily melee them. You have that option. Each character has 2 different melees. There's a melee when you're standing still, and then of course a melee when you're sprinting. Now, when you're a pyro, which is what my main is, a pyromancer, you actually have the opportunity to set someone on fire to burn them, and if they die, depending on how your skill tree set up, when they die after you melee them and then they burn and die after that, you can heal yourself. So focus on the melee. Don't go through the entire game doing melee. I see a lot of people making these melee tanks now, but it is there if you need it. So just remember, do not forget about it. Tip number 3, when you are putting a new mod or replacing a mod on a weapon or piece of gear, armor, etc., you'll see sometimes a red square on that mod when you select it in your bank of mods you've collected. Now, if there's a red square, that means you have something already in your inventory on your person that has that exact same mod. So if you do choose that one, it's going to cancel it out and you're just going to waste the space. So make sure when you're putting a mod on a weapon or a piece of gear that you notice, okay, does it have a red square on it? No, perfect, I don't have this one yet. You can't, if it's class specific mods, you can't, double up on, oh, hey, if this does 1,000 damage and this does 1,000 extra damage, boom, that's 2,000. No, they don't double up the exact same mod. That's why they provide the red square to let you know you're wasting your time with this one. So keep your eyes peeled for that red square when putting mods on weapons and gear, because it's just wasting your time. Tip number 4, make sure you're collecting scrap. Later in the campaign, you're going to have the ability to actually buy the resources you need to level things up or change things around using scrap. So make sure you're collecting as much scrap as possible because you actually have the ability to buy resources. You can't do it throughout a majority of the campaign, but at some point, roughly near the not the end, but close to the end area, depending how you look at it, you have the ability to one of your people in your camp to walk up to them and actually use all of the scrap that you've collected over the entire campaign with doing all the side quests and everything like that to buy the resources, to buy pretty much anything you need to level things up. So focus on collecting scrap. Don't spend it on things, when you're leveling up. You're going to keep getting good weapons. You're going to keep getting good gear. Focus on collecting that scrap so when you get to that person in the campaign, you have the ability to buy whatever you want to level up whatever you want to. Collect the scrap. Tip number 5, when you have tons, let's just say your inventory is completely full. When you have tons of stuff in your inventory and you're going one at a time saying, I want to dismantle this, or I want to sell this, or I want to dismantle this, I want to sell this, there's an easier option to make it where you can dismantle everything at the same time or sell everything at the same time. So at the very bottom, to the bottom right, when you're looking at your inventory, you can see different colors and with a number on it. So you can see how much commons you have, the number on the green square is how many uncommons you have, number on the purple square is how many or blue square, red square, how many rares and epics you have. You can actually, if you just want to scrap your commons, you can go over to that and just click on that button. It'll highlight every single one of the commons. So if you want to scrap everything in just 4 clicks, boom, 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 I just highlighted all 4 of those, all 4 of the colors. I want to scrap everything. Or you can go highlight all of them and then go to a vendor, go to sell, and then you can automatically sell everything at the same time as opposed to going one at a time. This is something I learned maybe day 3 or day 4. No, probably day 3, I think, but something that would have been helpful day 1 because I was spending the time dismantling one thing at a time and it was tedious and annoying. So make sure you're going to the bottom right of your inventory screen, selecting the color box of the items you want to dismantle or sell. It speeds things up. Tip number 6, auto loot. This is something that I feel like every single person I've played with so far, and a lot of people that I've watched play this game as well, are not figuring out because they're running around trying to make sure they can run over or pick up every single piece of loot. And sometimes when you're in a boss battle and someone sees, you know, that yellow item or that purple item, and they're like, ooh, let me go get that real quick, as your teammates are dying to the boss, you don't have to go to an item. What you want to do is go to your settings, go to auto loot, and put it on common. That means when you push the auto loot button, every single item that is anywhere in the world that you have, since, you know, anywhere in the map since, you know, you've been fighting people, you're going to collect it all together. So first off, make sure you have a completely empty inventory or a lot of space in your inventory when you're doing a new quest, when you're versing a new boss, whatever it may be, so you can collect everything so you can get those scraps or get the resources you need when you sell them, etc. But the auto loot button, go to your settings, go to auto loot, put it on common. If you don't care about commons and you don't want to waste your space, if you're thin on inventory space, then put it on uncommon, rare, whatever you want to do. That's up to you. But for me personally, I put it on common. And then when you're fighting, and let's say there's, you know, 15 items across all of these enemies you just killed, and you don't want to walk around and pick up every single item, you know, by walking over it and picking up, you know, just picking up the X button or whatever you're playing on for the loot option. For PS and Xbox, you want to hit the down button on the D-pad, and I don't play PC, but it looks like PC is the H key. So no matter where you are, if there's purple over there and you see some shiny green things over there, you push the auto loot button, and if you have it set to pick up everything, which is common, or everything but the commons, which is, you know, set it to uncommon, it'll pick it up. Now, the neat thing about this is, you know, when people are harvesting items, and you're like, oh, there's an item over here I just harvested, and you go over there to get the resources, or when your teammate opens a crate, and they're like, there's a crate over here, and you make your way back all the way to them to get the items, this works the same way. You can be 500 yards away from someone. If your teammate opens up a crate, he says, hey, I just opened up a crate, hit the auto loot button, you'll pick up everything that came out of that crate. If a teammate harvests materials, you say, hey, I just harvested materials. No matter where you are, how far away you are from them, hit that down button or hit the H key, you will auto loot it. This is something that's going to save you a lot of time, and you're going to get killed trying to run around while there's a boss fight, making sure you pick everything up. Just wait till either after the fight or during the fight, quickly hit that button, it'll automatically put it in your inventory. Easy peasy lemon squeezy, auto loot. Tip number 7, focus on the main quest. Now, I'm sure there's a lot of people that's like, no, do the side quest, do the side quest. You'll get a lot of cool stuff and you'll level up. So when you do the main quest, you'll be a higher level. No, focus on the main quest. You'll get plenty of amazing gear, plenty of amazing weapons. You'll get a lot of experience as well. Now, if you save all of these side quests for the after end of the main story, so after you finish the main story campaign, if you go to all of these side quests after that, so first off, you're gonna have more fun because you have all these awesome weapons and all this awesome gear and these new skills and everything. But the more important thing is the items that you were gonna get anyway are going to be to your level. They're going to scale. So if you're playing a side quest on, let's say, level 5, you're going to level 5 option. If you wait till the end when you're level 28, 29, 30, and you play that side quest for the first time, you're going to get a level 28, 29, 30, whatever level you are, weapon. So focus on that. Focus on the main story, then go back to the side quest, and then get all the awesome gear that you can, you know, dismantle if it's got awesome mods on it or anything like that. It'll give you a lot more opportunity to get a lot more neat things for the end game stuff. Tip number 8, this is probably the easiest one that a lot of people already know, but I know there's some people that still don't, which is why it's included. Tip number 8 is how to change your shooting shoulder. You're either looking over your right shoulder holding a gun or looking over your left shoulder holding a gun when you're shooting, and it's easier to, you know, peek behind walls if you're, you know, looking to the right side of a box or the left side of a wall to change your shooting shoulder. Or some people who are left-handed, not myself, probably will find it easier to look over their left shoulder when they're shooting. Now, to do this, if you are on PC, which I do not play on, I believe you click the middle mouse button for that, and then for Xbox or PlayStation, you want to click the right thumbstick, and you can just go back and forth, and you can use it based on your cover, use it based on your preference. That is how you change your shoulder that you're looking over when you're shooting. Tip number 9. This is something I was afraid of when I first started playing the game, is like, oh crap, I don't know which of the 3 skill trees I want to focus on. You know, if I want to focus on the top row, the middle row, the bottom row, maybe mix it up a little bit. And I was afraid that once I committed, I want to be able to go back. But I was delighted to see that you can alter this as often as you want. You can alter your class tree, and you can alter what skills, which 3 skills you have for your build, for your class. You can actually alter it based on what you're doing. If you're doing endgame stuff, maybe you want these 3. If you're just doing, you know, side quests, maybe you want these 3. Also, if you're playing by yourself, you probably want to make yourself more tanky, where you can handle more damage. So you probably want to do this compared to if you're playing with, you know, 2 other people and you're able to be more of a long-range weapon and have it play with the tank that can pull in the aggro. Oh, maybe I'll want to do this. So you change it up based on how you're playing, based on who you're playing with, if anyone, and then also just play around with what you want. I know that, you know, for Pyro, for example, if you're playing solo on Pyro, I was very squishy. I was dying very, very quickly early on in the game, probably when I was like level 10 or 15 doing solo, and I realized, okay, I need to change up this class tree. So I was focusing on making things that just healed me as quickly as possible. I put all of my skills into anything that said anything about leech or healing to make sure that I could handle as much damage as possible. And then I became a pyro tank when playing solo. So play around with that as much as you want to. I don't have a main tank or a tech or anything else, or a trickster, but if you're not sure what to do, if you're one of those, because I do pyro, so you can ask me all the pyro questions you want to. If you want to play around with the other stuff, just ask someone else or even YouTube it. There's tons of videos for the other classes as well. But yeah, play around with it. Finally, tip number 10, do not buy gear or weapons. You're gonna get plenty of that stuff as you go along, as I mentioned before, in the quest, main story quest, and even if you're playing the side quest, you're gonna get a lot of cool stuff as well. Do not waste your resources, do not waste anything on weapons or gear just to have them. However, if you go shopping, the only thing you do want to look out for is the mods. Don't pay attention to anything else, whatever a gun has or whatever, you know, a new headpiece has, any of that stuff. Don't focus on the stats. Only look at the mods. So you're only gonna go mod shopping is what I'm saying. If you look at something, you're like, that's a mod I would like to have on, you know, this gun or you know, that piece of gear. Mod shopping is allowed because you could just simply buy something, dismantle it, and boom, you have that mod. You can do whatever you want to with that mod, right? So do not go shopping for gear. Don't go shopping for guns. Only go shopping for mods. And there you have it. That is 10 tips to help you with Outriders. Now, if you already knew a lot about these tips, or even if you knew all of them already, just let me know in the comments of anything you think I should have added. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a second episode of this where I'm going to put all of the community's feedback on. I think this is something that people should know that you didn't mention. And then I'll do like a community top 5. So let me know in the comment section below. Make sure you follow this channel if you haven't yet. Click the thumbs up, and I'll see you guys for the next one. Thanks.